Well, welcome everybody back to the Flying Doghouse. We're at First Flight Kitty Hawk, and we're going to take a look at the Black Square A36 Bonanza. So we're going to give this a review. So no time like the present. I guess by way of introduction, this is a complete rebuild of the A36 platform. It's in very, very many respects, study level kind of depth, very deep engine simulation, and analog avionics fidelity has been added in. Also, I think one of the things that's a hoot is you can tap on the gauges, and if they were stuck, they'll start working again. So there's a lot of stuff modeled here. So we're going to take a look at the Bonanza Pro version from Black Square, and we'll take a look at the different kinds of models, and we will endeavor to at least go ahead and get the aircraft started up. So depending on time and pacing, we may have a fly in it as well. So stay tuned. Let's get going. So what do you get when you purchase this, right? So there are three are different. It's not just a simple repackage. So the A36 is normally aspirated, right? It's a mid-2000s era aircraft with classic piston performance. So that's choice number one. Choice number two is the A36 TC. It's turbo normalized, and it's a 2001 aftermarket turbo. And then the A36 TP, the turboprop conversion. It's a PT6A powered monster with turbine performance. So we're gonna have our look at the A36. So we're in the normally aspirated variant. So there's just so much stuff to cover here. It's really hard to know where you start. System depth, I guess, is another pivot, right? So we have a customized reciprocating engine model. There's a realistic turbo normalization behavior. There's accurate mixture and detonation and temperature modeling going on with this one. So I think if you are looking for depth and accuracy, this is probably the highest level of aspiration that you're going to have, I think, in the current sim. It's quite good. Lots of different failures that you can turn on. There is persistent wear. It does remember aircraft state. There's a tablet that's included that lets you configure the aircraft as well, and then manage your maintenance as you go along. So let's just jump into the cockpit here for a minute. Go ahead and do that. Yeah, you'll notice if you mouse over tap glass. That's just hilarious. All right, so the very, very well modeled on the inside was the tablet. So the new tablet's got a bunch of stuff in it. There's payload management, there's failure control and scheduling. So you've got control over when those failures happen, if at all. Engine monitoring, you've got electrical schematics that are available. Environmental control visualization. There's cabin configuration. And then here's your primary and secondary configurations for your avionics, along with all of the choices and options that you see here. So it is quite the tablet. So there's a lot of stuff going on here. So external elements, you can turn those on or off as you choose. And this is not a 2024 native aircraft, so And again, this is customized and driven from this tablet. So you got the opportunity to handle your wheel chocks and your pitot covers and engine covers and external power and heater, which do come into play in terms of cold weather starts. So keep that in mind as you are having a play with the aircraft. So there's that. Here's the engine, current engine condition. So it's showing 100%. So no maintenance needed. A schematic of the electrical. Or of an overview of the condition in the cabin. Currently 59 degrees in the cockpit here. And then we have our failure section that you can tweak. There's a scrollable menu bar here with tons and tons of choices. All right, so we're not here today to learn how to use the tablet. But at any rate, just kind of rolling through that to give you an idea of what you can have fun with in terms of exploring that. So that's the tablet. So we'll put it back where it belongs. The visuals. What would you say about that? So let's go an external camera here, and let's change the time of day. Get some nice full sunshine on this. It's very, very well modeled. To a level of detail that you would expect, I think, from Black Square. You can see the bumps and ripples in the skin of the aircraft. I did not realize that in doing the prep for this that this aircraft was actually designed and then built in the 1940s. So around 1947, I think, is when this one made its first appearance. So quite remarkable, right? So at any rate, new 3D modeling on the exterior, 6 interior styles. There are 6 liveries that sort of take you across the time sphere in terms of how the aircraft looks. It also has a fully customized sound set that was built by Boris Audio Works. So it sounds quite good. I think it's one of the best sounding GA aircraft in the sim. So take that or leave it for what it's worth. Everybody's ears are different. It seems to be one of the places where points of contention sort of pop up in terms of your aircraft. The performance and handling stuff. I mean, the A36 is going to be what you expect. It's straight ahead. It's good for general aviation pilot training, right? Great for IFR training as well. And then the advanced variants are going to, offer stronger performance, higher climb rates, all those fun things with the TC and the TP variant. So there you go. Obviously higher burn rates on fuel with that. But there you go. I think that's some good narrative in terms of getting started with the aircraft. And it is not, I would say it's not inexpensive, right? It's one of the pricier models, I think, in the sim as far as GA is concerned. And whether it's worth it or not really is it's kind of up to you in terms of what you're looking for. From my perspective, what I'm seeing is it's close, the closest I have gotten so far to the real world kind of stuff. And I have been very pleased with the purchase. So for me, I think it's worth the money. It's worth the money to have the responsiveness and the flight characteristics, and also the modeling of the systems internal into the aircraft. So you want a bit of a challenge in terms of handling failures, this one may be for you. All right, so let's jump back in the aircraft, and then we can turn our attention to a cold and dark start. So let's do that. Okay, back in the aircraft we are. All right, let's have a peek here. I'm going to leave this vanilla. I'm not going to customize the avionics kit. I'm going to leave it as is at the moment. Again, the aircraft is going to remember the state that you left it in. So last night I was having a fly, got out of the aircraft. I opened the pilot door. And when I loaded in to do this video, the pilot door was still open. So there you go. Just kind of pointing that out. Again, there aren't any surprises. The modeling on the interior is very, very well done. Taking that in. All right, it looks good. Very, very well done. So let's go ahead and remove the control locks here. I'm going to hide the yoke just for grins and giggles. So one of the things you're going to definitely want to make sure you do is open your cowl flaps. So we got those done. Our fuel is on. It's selected to the left tank. So that should be fine. Temperature is not in the range where we would need the cold start features of the aircraft, so we don't need to fool with that. We do need to make sure that our mixture is full rich and prop RPM is 100%. And we also want to make sure that we crack the throttle. All right, so that should set us up for some success in terms of getting the aircraft started. Let's go ahead and cut on some lighting inside the aircraft. Get the battery here, alternator. And we can cut the beacon on and nav lights on to let people know that we're in the aircraft commencing with our shenanigans. All right, cowl flaps are in the correct position here. Battery alternator good. Fuel pump come on for a couple of seconds. Should get a successful start here. Maybe. Or not. There we go. It was a bit finicky. All right, we'll come off from the fuel pump. May not have been holding down the starter long enough. All right, so our avionics are coming to life here. Go ahead and get those synchronizing. Transponder set to VFR, so we're good with that. We're in an uncontrolled, untowered airfield, so we would need to go to Unicom for the radio work. Should we be doing that in the real world? Okay, let me load SPAD next and get that going. The things that I tend to not get done before I start recording. I need a checklist. I don't know the checklist. Let me. Alright, so we should have. Yep, we've got our signal now acquired from our avionics kit. Just kind of take a look at our gauges here just to See what's going on here. Fuel situation looks good. Fuel flow looks good. RPM's in the green. Manifold pressure's in the green. And if we were doing a real world, we would do a magneto check. We'll dispense with that for the purposes of this particular video. All right, let's take the parking brake off. Jump outside the plane. Have a look. Have a look and a listen, I guess. Run the engine up a little bit. It sounds very, very good. All right, we did open our cowl flaps for ground operations, so off the parking brake. And just ignore the ground equipment as I do stuff like this. So obviously, real world, you wouldn't be doing that. Okay, we're making our way over to runway 3. And we would be letting traffic know what we were up to here. And let's go ahead and make our way out onto runway 3. It's very pleasing as far as ground handling is concerned. No surprises here. All right, come back on with the parking brake. Back inside the aircraft here. We don't really need flaps, but I'm going to do flaps 12. The aircraft, it just flies very nicely. I think you're going to be very, very pleased with that operation. No surprises here. Okay, so let's go ahead and get going here with our takeoff roll. Let's run the engine up here. See it nose down, and we are off the parking brake. 73 or 4 is our rotate. You're coming up. Local obstructions here. Flaps coming back to 0. And let's jump outside. I do have working radar in the aircraft. It's just an absolute pleasure. We'll come back on our manifold pressure here. Back on our RPM. Jump outside. See what that looks like. Go ahead and get the cowl flaps closed. All right, so that's good. And we'll get the aircraft trimmed out here. And we're coming up on Chucky Ridge State Park. Yeah, it's been a minute since we've done an aircraft review like this. But the aircraft flies very, very nicely. So it is an absolute pleasure. Start managing our airspeed down some. And gear warnings are going to go off based on our RPM setting. I think if you're looking for a high fidelity general aviation aircraft that's single engine, you're not gonna do better than this one, my opinion. All right, gear coming down. We'll do flaps 12 again. Alright, turning finals here. And we're down. Welcome to Manteo. Alright, so we'll continue our taxi here. Make our way all the way down to the end, into the taxiway. Turn right. Alright, so the magical question. Would I buy it again? Absolutely 1000% yes. I did buy it in the bundle with the Baron Pro, because I do feel like that's a better value than buying them separately. Right here. About so. All right. flaps back up. Parking brake on. All right, there we go. Sure, and prop RPM. Avionics off. Alternator off. Battery off. Ignition off. Roll lock back in place. There we go. All right, there we have it. This is an absolute marvelous experience. And I've been, simming for several years in the aggregate, and Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 for several years as well. I didn't believe the Black Square hype. I will openly admit it. And I will reach across the table and grab my crow fork and eat crow. This aircraft is wonderful. It is clearly one of the best in the sim. Should you buy it? It really depends on what you're looking for in an aircraft, and if the higher level of performance and responsiveness and system fidelity matters to you, then absolutely you need to pick this up. Otherwise, there are other alternatives. For me, this one's a no-brainer, folks. The Black Square A36 Bonanza Pro. Sim-worthy? Absolutely. All right, if you made it this far, please give us a like and a subscribe. We'd love to have you as a channel subscriber. More content like this coming up in 2026. We're next going to have a look at the Beechcraft Baron Pro, and we'll do a cross-country flight in it, and then we'll do a in-depth look and a review. There are so many features to explore in the aircraft. The documentation is incredible. So the level of that goes above and beyond, I think, as well. Okay, so until next time, folks, and as always, I hope everybody is keeping well. Cheers, y'all.